Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, August 27, 2025. So we start off with my least favorite people. You already know, Stephanie and Alex. So they're getting ready to have breakfast date with Stephanie's parents, and they're just gushing about how they wanted to spend a longer time in bed this morning, but they have the night to look forward to. Again, overly romanticizing these two, and I'm tired of it. So he's talking about how there's a lot of rave reviews about Stephanie's new book, and he gave her a new phone because apparently the PR team at Titan the Mirror wants I guess to contact the novelist under her pseudonym, so that would be the perfect way to do it instead of actually reaching out to Stephanie's actual phone number, right? So she's happy about that, and they end up going to the pub to meet up with Stephanie's parents, and that was really it. So before they come to the pub, Kayla and Steve were talking, and Kayla wanted to find out how is Steve doing with his case. So he said that it was concluded, and that he couldn't get into details with it, even though Kayla helped him with a little detail about Philip and maybe his involvement in some wrongdoings and Stephanie being involved in it. So she asked, how deep is Stephanie in it? He couldn't tell her point blank what's going on because he promised Stephanie that he wouldn't say a word to nobody, so he has to keep it on the hush hush, right? Kayla is not really okay with that, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So anyways, he says, I guess he talks about the case and how it can definitely be addictive, wanting to find out certain details. And at some point Stephanie and Alex join, right? So they order what is on the menu for the day, which is, I guess, some pigs in a blanket, a take on that with pancake with a sausage in the middle of it, which I think definitely is worth a try. So anyways, they're talking amongst themselves about the whole incident with Alex back in the day at college in the toga, and they're asking him if he has any pictures, and he said he apparently has some pictures of him in the toga. So they were just laughing, having a good time. It was a good, get together. But at some point, Alex has to go to work and Steve has to go back to the office. So Stephanie and Kayla begin to talk about, work. And, she's talking about how she has to work with EJ and how EJ is definitely hard to work with because, a lot of people want to have issues with him about how he's cutting back a lot of things that are necessary for the hospital. And even though she's his PR person, it's hard for her to talk to the patients or the staff, and they're just looking at her as EJ's personal cheerleader, which she's trying not to be. She has to still do her job. Kayla is saying, maybe she needs to quit because she does have a lot on her shoulders, managing PR for Titan Demira, EJ, and a few small clients as well. And she asks Kayla about this rising poisoning, which Kayla's wondering what she's doing with that. So she said that she is looking it up for a novel, for a novelist that she is doing PR for, and they're trying to kill off a character in the novel. So that was really it. Kayla asked her if she wanted to represent Anastasia Sands so she could meet her. And, of course, Stephanie's laughing it up because, again, she doesn't want them to find out that she's behind it, because earlier the parents were talking about how the book is doing well and they congratulate Alex on it. And, they're talking about how the book, how steamy it is, and Steve wanted to read it, which made Stephanie cringe as well because I would cringe as well, right? But yeah, that was it with them. So Sarah and Holly have a little chit chat. It's back to school shopping, and Holly and her grandmother was actually doing that. So she's looking forward to starting college soon, and she's glad she even started it in Salem because Her friends are here. She's rooming with Ari. She's also, have most of her family here. And even though, she wanted to see her mom is completely fine with her staying out here. And Sarah also mentions Tate, which, Holly agrees with, because Holly is glad that she didn't have an ocean separate them. They're glad to be together. And Sarah wishes that there's an ocean between her and Xander because of what's going on currently. And she says she's sorry to hear that. So Sarah gives her some advice about her and Tate, that look, I don't think Tate's gonna do the same thing, but just be careful, be on guard. Basically, what Maggie told her a month ago or so, that you just gotta be careful. You don't want to get hurt, right? And she said she's not, she doesn't believe that Tate is gonna do that. And they just talked about how they missed each other and all that. And she's saying, where's this coming from? So she said, Sophia is nearby and she still has a thing for Tate. And Holly's aware of that, but she's not worried about Sophia because Tate doesn't feel that way about her, even though they had that one hookup. Besides, their baby's not Salem, so of course Sarah knows different about that, right? And she just thinks, it's gonna blow up. So she's just telling Holly, just look, be careful, right? So back at the penthouse, Rachel is still bummed about her not seeing her mom and everything, and Brady and Tate come in with, the snake cage, from the Demare mansion, her pet. So they told her, look, you can set up anywhere you want the pet to be, anywhere, just design whatever. Rachel is not really happy about the new arrangements because, again, all she wants is her mom. And Brady understands, and Brady just said, look, you got a lot of people that love you and looking out for you. Why don't you find a sunny spot to put the snake in, right? So she goes ahead and do that. And, Tate is talking about how, he's sorry about what happened to her. And Brady's also sorry about it because he can't believe, Kristen will really go do this right now and affect her relationship with her daughter. So he also tells Tate that, look, the sentence is coming up because Tay is asking, how long will she be going away for? He doesn't know yet. And he also said that she's not using the law to defend her. So Tate is like, what? Like, why would that even be? So Brady's saying he's been using years to figure out that woman, and you just can't seem to figure out why she do what she do, right? So anyways, at some point, Brady and Rachel go to get some food or something like that for the snake. And Holly comes over to Tate and they're just talking about Rachel's pet. And, Holly's not really fond of it. So at some point, they're there thinking about, doing the do because everybody's gone out of the house. But they end up going to the pub, right, to have a meal or so. I forgot to mention Brady did also ask Tate for the adoption attorney's number because apparently he wants to cover up a story about a person at Basic Black wants to look into adoption. He's an attorney, right? But we all know he's trying to find out what's going on with Sophia based on his conversation with Sarah, and also Sophia blurting out the baby is a he, right? He still can't stop thinking about it. So he's in the square and they're going to get the food for Rachel's pet. They run into Sarah. Sarah's asking how Rachel's doing with everything going on the past couple of days. She just says she missed her mom and, it's just been hard. And, Sarah comforts her. Brady also said, look, we can meet up for dinner at some point. So they agree on that. And that was really that with their encounter. Alex also runs into Sarah in the square, and Sarah's just asking him how things are going at the company. And he said, everything is working out right. Everybody's trying to get along. She asks, how is Xander doing? He said, Xander's okay, but, honestly, Xander does miss you. And she also agrees that, she misses him as well, and, she loves him. But it's just been a lot that happened between the two of them. And, Xander said, Alex said he understands, and, at the end of the day, just take care of yourself, right? So that was really it with their encounters. It was really a short one. So Sophia starts her first day at the pub because remember, she knew that Tate was actually working at the pub and she decided to do it because she wanted to get closer to him, again, being very desperate. So she did take the orders for Steve and Kayla. Kayla was checking in on her and asking her how she is after everything. And she said she's just hanging in there. She's glad that she and Tate put the baby up for adoption so that she can just move on with her life, right? So at some point, Holly and Tate are going to the pub for a meal, and they see Sophia, of course, to Holly's dismay and Tate's surprise. She's working there. So Tate said, I didn't know you were working here. I told you that I was working here prior. You just took the job because of me. So she said, not everything is about you. I saw the help on its sign. My mom started and decided that I need to get out of the house, get something to do. And Holly's like, what about the beach? So she said that, when I got pregnant and instead of maternity leave, I just left the job and everything. And, when I came back, somebody else took the position. So here I am now. So she asked it, when is he working? And he said later on today. So she said, I guess we'll be working here together. So again, she's just trying to move in between Tate and Holly. And it's just really giving pathetic and desperate at this point. Like, girl, move on. Tate is not even all that. So Brady comes to go talk to Steve again to get help on another case. So, Steve asks him, hey, how you holding up? I heard that Kristen confessed to, shooting her brother. Like, how is Rachel doing? So he said, she's holding up, but, we're here. And he said, she has a lot of support from you, Marlene, and the rest of the family. He just wishes that John would have been here, because John would have known how to, take care of Rachel and calm her down and all of that. And, Steve agrees as well. So, anyways, Brady gets down to business, said that, look, I need your help investigating Sophia, because something just doesn't seem right to me with this whole adoption story. I'm going with my gut that something is up. So, Steve said, you go with your gut is always right. That's how your dad used to do it. So he said that, I really need help with this. So Steve said, I'm on board with it. Let's start for the beginning. And that's where today's episode ended. And, at the end of the day, like, hopefully he gets the answers he needs, because we know Brady takes a while to figure out things. I'm surprised he didn't figure out that, Kristen's actual reason for actually, turning herself in. I mean, he figured out that, she's probably not telling the whole truth, but he did not actually know the real reason. And, he berated her and everything. Hopefully it comes out a little bit earlier. But comment below your thoughts on today's episode, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys tomorrow.